off, and I want to cut out sections for the end pieces, so I measured. Now I'm going to give a cut. Okay, now I'm going to take this and see if it fits. Okay, so I went ahead and cut. When I put this together, I left a slot. Okay, it's a nice snug fit, so I'm going to have to pound it a little. Okay, so as you can see, it went ahead and fit on the back side of it. And if you look here, I left a space so I could slide it in, and now it's held into place. And when I put the dirt in, it's not going to go ahead and go out because this is wider on both ends than that. Okay, so I'm making progress. I went ahead and measured and I gave a cut. So this back end, this could go ahead and slide in. It goes all the way to the end back here. It doesn't stop right over here. So no dirt falls out if there's a space. So now it's a really good seal. And I think this end's done. So I'm gonna do that end. And once I'm done with that end and sturdy this up, I can start filling up this bed and get this bed complete before I tackle all the others. So with that said, let me go cut another piece for that corner. Okay, so I went ahead and cut this. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over. That way, this is the outside. Okay, that fits in there nicely. Okay, so once again, right over here, I slid this in. You can see it goes to the end. It's all the way down. So when I put the dirt in here, it should hit that. I'm going to put a little spacer behind this one. Just a little piece of board. It'll hold it tighter out like that. And this side is a nice flush fit. So all in all, my game plan's coming together. Okay, hey y'all, I'm out here again first thing in the morning. I went and picked up some 16-foot pressure treated 2x4s for the framing of the sheet metal. And this is what I'm doing. I'm taking the 16 footers and I'm putting one on each side. I'm putting a 2x4 there just to keep it up so it don't sag. I'm using this as a spacer so I could put it right here so it's even all the way down, and I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom. Okay, so the reason I don't want this on the bottom to go to the bottom, because this is sharp and it will cut the ground cover. So I'm leaving a buffer there. So this sits on the ground cover and this does not. However, I'm trying to space it out accordingly, you know, in there like that. And then of course I'm putting screws in it to hold it. And the same thing over here. I have this so it doesn't sag. If I took this out, you see how that sags? So it wouldn't be a good measurement. So I go ahead and put this under it. Oh, it's hard to do it one-handed like that. So now it lays level like that. And then I could go ahead and do this. Now at the ends, I got a little template and I'm putting it on the end. So all my ends come exact. Right over here like that, exact. With a little bit of space in there. Because remember, the other sheet metal is going to slide in at the end. So this space here is the same as down there. And everything's nice and even. So I'm going to go ahead and screw it in here. Later on, I'll take a 2x4 from there to here, like that on the bottom, and I'll frame it in. I'll show you in a bit. Okay, so everything I'm doing step by step. It's easier to put the ends on first, the top and the bottom, and then do the center one in between, instead of doing it all at one time, because the measurement might be off just a little bit, and I want a good snug fit. So let me go ahead and put this together. I'll flip it over so you can see what the backside looks like. Okay, let me go ahead and cut it and we'll see how it fits. Okay, when this was flipped over, I ran two 16-foot pressure treated pieces of 2x4. I measured so they equally spaced on the ends, screwed them in, flipped it over, and now I'm taking 4x4s and I'm putting braces across at each end and the center. So basically for that, what I did was I measured the center, made it flush, screwed it in using 2.5-inch treated deck screws. And once it's in there, I drew a straight line, and now I'm going to give it a straight cut. And I did the same thing for the ends. Now, attaching the sheet metal to the 2x4, I'm using 1 5/8 inches. This way, when you screw through the 2x4, it doesn't stick out the backside. And the same thing with the 2.5-inch, so it goes through both 2x4s and doesn't come out the back end. So with that said, I have this measured and squared. All I'm going to do is cut it off right now. You can't see it, but that's flush. It's a flush cut. So it's flush there and there. Put these back. Okay, so this is what it looks like right here. It's nice and strong. As you can see, I'm sitting on it already. And this is one side. Now, when I bring that over there, I'm going to put a pipe here, there, and there. This will be one side. Do the same thing with all the other ones. And then I'll put an end piece and an end piece, and it'll be a square box. But basically, look, nice and strong and sturdy. It actually stands up on its own, so it's balanced pretty good. It's ready to rock and roll. So let me go ahead and do a couple more, and then we'll head on over to the bed. Okay, so now it could go a little faster because now I know the measurements from the first template. So I could just lay it all out and put the boards on like that. Flip it over and just screw in the sheet metal. So I could cut the boards, pre-cut them, instead of have to measure each one like I did the first one. Okay. So with the one side done and the other side done, I'll show you how I just go ahead and have a template and lay it out now. So this is the one that's done. It's the top side. Here's the bottom side. This is the side that's going to be facing out. So now on this, I got two 16-footers, and all I really got to do is measure these out and then just put them together. And then when they're put together just like that one there, then you just lay the sheet metal on it, make sure it's squared the way you want it, spaced out, and just screw them together. Goes a lot quicker like that. Although in the Florida sun on concrete, it's pretty hot out here. So, but anyway, I'm working. I got the first bed done, working on the second bed. Okay, so pretty much I got 4 pieces done. That's enough for 2 beds. I got 2 more beds to go, but I need to pick up more supplies. I just want to see how it was going to go. And the only thing I did different that wasn't on video is this. I went ahead and put spacers in the center like that. That way this doesn't sag, and I could secure it from the back side in as well. Okay, so that's it for today. I'm going in to have lunch and go online and mess around. It's pretty hot out, so I'm quitting for the day. Be back at you. Okay, so I'm out here and I'm working on the ends. You can see I have the sides framed in and they're laying there, and now I gotta do the ends. So let me show you how I'm doing it. Okay, so right over here I have some boards. I have the short side and the long side. So the measurements are 4 foot wide and 20 3/4 tall for the framing. So with that said, I went ahead and I cut all the material. As you can see, I have the wood cut there. I'm making some framing. The wood is cut here, and I have the other 16 footers, so I could go ahead and do the other 16 foot sides. So right now though, I'm doing all of the ends, and once that's complete, then I'll do the 16 foot sides, and then we'll go over there and I'll screw them all together so they're nice and square. Everything that I'm doing is squared off. I don't want to have it on any kind of an angle. If it goes on an angle when it's over there, that's the ground. But all in all, once it's all squared, it should sit pretty good. If there's a little dip, it would be up, and then I could fill it in. We'll see how that goes. Back at you. Okay, so I just finished my last end piece. Here's all the other end pieces. Let's go over there and see how one looks. Okay, so I just finished the end piece. I moved my pallet, my half-size pallet out. And here's the end piece. This part is going to slip right down in there, and the end piece is going to be right here. Okay, once again, I'm out here first thing in the morning. I'm going to go ahead and do 4 more long 16-foot sides for 2 more beds. As you recall, I started with the 2 beds up front as a prototype to see how they would look, how they would fit, how they went together. And then I had a rhythm going, so now I'm going to do the last 2 sets, and this is how it goes. Okay, so these are 16 footers over here, enough to do 4 of these. You can see I got it laid out. I got the sheet metal. I went ahead and I got the boards laid out. This is my spacer. It goes in between the board and the sheet metal. And so I'm going to go ahead over here and put them together. And then once I'm done with this, putting them together, we'll go over there and we'll go ahead and fit them. Okay, so this part is really important, so I thought I would show you. I went ahead and drew a line on this piece of wood. I used that as my straight edge, so it's straight. And it's 1 inch wide. Okay, the reason for that is I'm going to take this and put it right up against the end over here that is square. So when I take this piece of wood here and I set it down, it's overlapping the long strips 1 inch. Now, If your sheet metal is 2 inches or 1.5 or 3/4, whatever thickness this is, you want to do it just a little wider so you can slip this down on the ends, which I'll show you in a little bit, and I showed you in the beginning of the video. So if you take this piece of wood and you go square like that, you're not going to be able to slide it through. But by putting this here and bringing this out 1 inch, when you butt the other piece of wood up, there'll be a 1 inch space where you can slide that down and lift it up. So with that said, I got this on there. Every time you screw something, you want to use a straight edge. Okay, that looks perfect to me. So I'm going to go ahead and fasten it down. Another thing, when you have a drill, it's always good to have a battery drill, but if you got a quarter, it's great. You just got to bring it all over. I have both. I like this better. You see this little piece here? Your Phillips head goes in the end, or whatever screwdriver end you have. You pull this out, so when you put your screw in, it holds. Without that, you cannot hold. It looks like it's holding here, but it'll release even though that's magnetized. But this holds it better. Okay, now that that's in, I slide this piece of wood out, that 1 inch gap. Now if you notice, right over here, my hand goes in 1 inch. You see this? 1 inch right here. Okay, so I thought that was important enough to show you that if you make it flush, you're gonna have a problem sliding this in. And even if you made these permanent, you're gonna have to butt the other one up against here, and there's gonna be a little gap and all the dirt's gonna come out. But when you do that, the other piece is gonna come up to here and no dirt's gonna come out. Okay, so as you can see, I flipped it over and I got it done. You can see the space in there. Now if I take this right here, turn it that way, and put it down, you can see right here, there's a lip and it fits right on that lip. Okay, so that was important. The next thing is, when you put the sheet metal down, you're going to have the factory end, because you cut it down the middle, and you're going to have this sharp end. In the beginning of the video, I ground this down, but it's still sharp. So this is going to be the bottom, this is going to be the top when you put it up, so this is always facing the ground. But I want to secure this to this now, but you see how it pushes down in the middle, all the way down? So I made some square blocks, and I just put the block in there like this. Make sure it's even, like that. Okay, so that space there is even. So now when you put this up here like this, and you screw it in, it's nice and secure, nice and firm. It's not going to bow in or out when you put it together. Okay, so let me go ahead and finish this up. Okay, if done correctly, the ends should look like this. So you can see the space over here, and the sheet metal is flush. That way no dirt falls through. There's a little space on the top, a little space on the bottom. And that space is so you don't get cut on that. And right over here too, this comes even, and there's the lip. So basically, if you get your sides looking like that, the front piece goes on and everything slides in perfectly. Okay, I'm done for the day. I'm baking in the sun, but this is what they look like. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. 14, 16 footers. They all have the lip. And now I'll bring those, not today, maybe tomorrow, I'll bring those over there and start erecting them. See you then. Okay, hey everybody, this is Sam again. I'm out here first thing in the morning. I got my tractor and I brought over the sides to my beds that I already experimented with. I put them in place. After I finished the ends, I laid them up on side, and I wanted to see what they look like. As it turned out, I needed to put a lip on them. They would fit better, so I finished those yesterday, and I'll show you in a second. And today, since I put these together with deck screws, I'm going to back out some screws, remeasure it, cut it, and make sure I have lips on them. When you use screws to put things together instead of nails, they're stronger, and you could always undo it and redo it. So that's what I'm going to do here today. Now, and the reason why I need to do this is because the 16-foot 2x4s that I got were actually like 16 foot and an inch, so they were a little longer, and it shows. It was actually like an inch and a half longer. I should have measured them and cut them in the beginning, but it was a prototype and I needed to troubleshoot it. So now that I know the design I definitely want, because they go together better and they're more useful and easier to take out, to go ahead and redo all the compost that's going to be in the beds. It's an easy fix, just take me a little bit longer, but let me show you. Right over here, you can see it. There's a 16-foot sheet, and this extends out longer. So I'm going to undo this, and I'm going to cut it back. I already got my template laid out. That's going to be the indentation under it. Now over here, on these that I did, you see it comes down 16 foot flat, and there's a lip here. Well, that lip is important because that's where the sheet metal is going to go, just like that. It's going to slide in, and you'll have that lip there. Now this lip, if you can see here, when I attach the sides, you see that gap? Because it's going to get screwed in like that, and then we'll have the gap right there, and that's where it's going to go, and this will be one solid piece. So I have those 4 done nicely. Now I'm going to do this side and the other side one at a time. So let's get rolling. Okay, so what I did is I just backed out all the screws. Now this sheet could come off like that. So now that the sheet is off, I could go ahead and work on these 2x4s to measure exactly 16 foot and recut them. Very easy to do, just takes a little bit of time, so let me get with it. Okay, like I do with everything, I take a square, and after I measured 16 foot to this line, I just use my square, I draw a straight line, and once this is on here, it's a straight line. So right over here, I have a laser skill saw. The laser really helps to get it straight. So since this end piece is already screwed in, I don't want to unscrew it, but all I got to do is cut this off and it should be good to go. So let's see. See that laser? Okay, I'm going to go on that side and cut this way. Okay, this laser is helpful because if you can see here, see that laser line going all the way down? Right here. So I can see exactly where I'm gonna cut and get it nice and square. Okay, so right over here I have a screw coming up, so I have to turn it over to get this screw out. But relatively, if I take this and place it in, right here is where I measured the lip. We're good to go. That looks perfect. So anyway, this lip is good. I got to go do the lip down there, back this out and re-screw it, but I want to do that side first. Back at you. Okay, so I got all these done. The sheet metal's on there. I've got it loaded on my tractor. I got to go bring it over there, come back and bring these over there, and then I'm all set to start assembling. Okay, so I got the prototype done. I went ahead and put everything together. I got the sides, I got the length, I disassembled everything over there. Now I'm going to take out my wide rake, try to level it the best I can, and then I'm going to go ahead and put an end on, the two sides on, try to get it level this way and level that way, and we'll see how it all goes. So basically I'm at the point now where it's erecting it and putting it together, and hopefully all the parts that I made will all fall into place and I'll have some nice raised beds. At the end of the video, or somewheres in the video, I'm going to go ahead and put all the measurements, and down below I'll have a link to all the measurements. I'm going to try to take some photos and put it on the frugalhugelgardener.com, and it'll be a downloaded PDF, so when you go to put it together you got all the measurements and materials. So with that said, let me get cranking. Okay, it's hot, long day, time for me to go inside, wash up, have lunch, but I have it all laid out, I have it squared, I have it all leveled. I still got more work to do, but that's for another time.